really look forward to meet a lot of the industry professionals here, network, and learn more about the latest trends and also what's going on in the market. I'm Azza Hagazi, the head of Global Brand Experience at Snapchat, and I'm really honored to have an amazing panel with me today. We have 4 panelists coming from different diversified experiences across the industry, and today we're going to be digging into a very interesting topic. I would say this is the hot topic of the last 6 months, or not even that, and we are going to dig deeper into this and have a lot of conversations about what is AI at the moment helping the industry. Is it the industry really is AI proof? Because really events industry is more focused on human connection, networking, bringing people together, very spontaneous reactions of people, and where AI is helping us to transform some of our processes, making it easy and helping us on a lot of processes across the industry. So are we too comfortable thinking that we are untouchable when it comes to how AI can help or replace us at some point, or we need to really get into the details of that and understand what is going on now and what is the future of AI globally and in the Middle East? Let me start with introducing my amazing panelists today. I'm going to start with Tala Abu Taha, Chief Growth Officer at 9 Yards Communication, Walid Faza, Chief Operating Officer at Tanjait, Georgia Malouf, Partnership Manager at Jam Event Services, Google Bajaja, Country Head and Vice President of Sales at C Event. Does that make face-to-face experiences even more valuable?
I believe, can you hear me guys? I believe that yes, AI makes face-to-face experiences valuable. And this comes from different areas. The more we optimize, the more we use AI, the more we generate automation, whether it's information or data. As a human, the more we look into the signals that can bring reality or real, which usually comes through the events and the activities that happens. And I'm going to give you a first-hand experience that I myself faced last week when it comes to searching for signals to bring me back to reality, back to basics. I've been judging in one of the prestigious communication awards in the Middle East. And one of the categories that I'm judging is the best use of AI. And most of the submission was like spot on in terms of what kind of supporting AI that they did, whether it was the strategy or the tactic itself, all the way to the reporting. One of them just grabbed my attention and it triggered the signal that I'm talking about. They used AI like the rest of the submissions, but the actual campaign
to this book club now, but I would love to also be a little bit cheeky and ask Walid about the commercial part of this conversation. So Walid, you're coming from an investment background. You're an investor, basically. And that commercial conversation can take it one step ahead from the investor perspective. Where do you see AI genuinely disturbing the event's value chain over the next 5 years?
Thank you for the question. How many people here use AI? How many people here trust AI? Wow, okay. So just for people that haven't seen, about everybody uses AI, and I think about 10% trust AI. How many people can actually say that AI is going to be better for our kids?
I know.
That's amazing. That's really telling us that there's a lot of fear in the room, and we don't know what we don't know. And that really speaks to how also investors kind of look at where AI is going. So from a commercial perspective, investors are looking to invest in the next big thing that's going to make billions of dollars for everybody, and it's going to better people's lives. And as we can see from the room, the tally in the room, that the trust factor is still not fully there. So as an investor, as amazing as the AI could be, as amazing as the UI UX is, and all its promises, if you don't have users that are sticky, that love it, that swear by it, it's really not an investable product. So I think the question here is not how amazing AI could be, but really talking about the human aspect and the human interface between humanity and AI, and what that means for our future and what that means for our day-to-day right now. So interestingly enough, when I talk to my kids and even to my nephews and nieces, I see a lot of resistance to AI, saying it's taking away our jobs, it's taking away our opportunities, what's the world going to look like, we didn't sign up for this kind of stuff. While I'm here looking at AI as being an incredible paradigm shift in my life, and hopefully AI for good for the rest of humanity. And I think when we talk about investment, we really want something that's sustainable, something that is sticky, and something that's going to change people's lives for the better. Are we there now? I honestly think we are, but if the masses and if the users don't feel that way, then it really doesn't matter what I think. Because at the end of the day, it's how it's integrating itself into society in a big way. So until we overcome that fear, and until we overcome that adoption hump that's going to last generations, we're not there in a big way. So as an investor, I look at one critical thing. It's not about the idea, and it's not about the technology. It's only about user adoption. So it's about the test of time. So when we talk about events, I agree with everything that you said. It's really a serendipitous human connection. It's about getting us all in one room, but then it's about somebody like Flurry who just stopped me over there and said, hey, I'd like to talk to you and shake your hand. And that's when the connection happens. Although my AI and the app that everybody has thousands of contacts, but how many of them are really going to click and manifest into something else? It's still back to a human connection. So I go back to that.
Great. I love your view about that, because it's very important to understand the user perspective from one side and the commercial part, because, I mean, as you said, you think that we are there, but the audience, they don't trust it, they don't think that we're still there. So we're still going to have some time where both views will meet, where you're investing in it, you're getting money out of it, and the user is getting the full benefit and the full trust out of this. Google. Now, when it comes to looking at this from a data perspective, I would say let's forget about strip the hype for us. Where is AI already delivering measurable value? Because this is we heard the views, and I would love to hear from you, and of course the audience here would love to understand also from a data perspective how this is turning into measurable data as well.
That's a great question. So I think for starters, I'm just going to pick off from what Walid said about the whole trust aspect. Look, anything new, it takes the time for that trust to build. Trust cannot be commanded, it's earned. If you guys go back maybe a decade and a half or 2 decades, everybody was intimidated, scared about moving their data to cloud. Everybody wanted on-premise data,
Correct.
close to their chest, close to their heart. And now we've gained the comfort of, like, of course, there's still organizations who want to do things on-prem, but I think overall there's a higher degree of comfort with putting things on the cloud because companies have created that trust and have earned that trust. And I think that's a path that eventually we will get to with AI, where these large companies with huge investments in data servers and security protocols are going to earn that trust. So I think that's the first part. Now, valuable outcomes, I think it's first, let's just define what those outcomes mean for everybody in the room. Like, for an attendee who's attending an event, AI needs to deliver a better experience. For an event planner, it needs to be more efficiency, more ease, and just better sleep at night. And then for a marketer or for an organizer, it needs to be event ROI. So I'm going to touch upon all those aspects. So let's start with the attendee because they're at the center of all these experiences.
Right.
Now with AI coming in, let's say if I'm attending an event, AI can read up your profile, which is your demographic and your firmographic dividend, and also look at your behavioral data, which means what kind of sessions have you signed up for, who have you met at the event, what are your personal interests, what are your hobbies, etc. And based on that, it could potentially create a warm introduction. Maybe I'm just too much of an introvert. It'll just create a warm introduction for me and trigger a notification to Waleed, and then we can have a conversation around it. Right? So AI did the matchmaking for us. So I think that's where the attendee experience comes in. From an efficiency standpoint, if let's say you're a hotelier and you have all these RFPs and requisitions coming to you, AI can sort that out and line them up in a decision tree. So from the hottest RFP to the mediocre to the lowest, it can tell you which ones are the ones that you need to attend to first. So I think that's that experience and that ease of efficiency that comes in. And lastly, for a marketer, for an organizer who's spending all those dollars, AI can allow you to collect all these data points and take meaningful actions on it. Like for example, basis the engagement that I have at this event, AI could tell me that my highest engaged attendees should be given to my maybe sales guys to do a follow-up on because they're interested in a certain product. Whereas for the lowest engaged attendees, they still need to be nurtured a little more. So they could be pushed to a nurture campaign. So I think these are some of the aspects where AI has already started to create value. And I think just the last piece would be around just content. It's so easy for anyone to write content, curate videos. Now, of course, that's another conversation on the viability and the appetite for everything that looks like everything.
Yep.
So there's that distinction that the human element gets taken away, but at least as a starter point to get you off the ground, AI can be really helpful.
Yeah, and to Waleed's point, maybe this is where a lot of trust are not there yet because we are maybe advanced in some aspects of the AI, but on that part, it still needs a lot of development.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, this is great. Now, this is how we want to automate things. But when we go to human connection, I'll move to Georgia to talk about what's going on ground at the moment. I mean, you work with, basically you work with humans and you work with all of the staffs that you are working or hiring for events on day-to-day or on project-to-project. So let's bring this back to what actually happens on ground. We can automate planning, registration, communication, and with thousands of people are moving around the event, where does technology stop and human judgment takes over?
To be honest, I don't feel like there's a clear line. For example, at Jam, we have an inquiry come in. Maybe it's from talent at 9 yards, okay? We have the inquiry come in, automatically our AI systems come in and they start processing information that might have come in that email, create a folder for us in our system. So we have something to reference to. All the way through to the project delivery and the dismantle and the post-event report, our AI is working in the background. But at the same time, we're working from the minute that inquiry comes in. You're not going to put AI in my Teams call with 9 yards to find out the information about the event, etc. And that works the whole way through. So the guys that are on the safety team that are on site, they're working, they're obviously making sure the site is safe. They'll be feeding information into the AI. So, okay, this incident happened today. The AI can write the report, but that information needs to come from a human. So in answer to the question, I don't think there is a clear line between when the AI finishes and when we start. I think we simultaneously are working And it obviously helps us, it benefits us. If it saves us 4 hours of admin time, that 4 hours is actually now 10 minutes for one of our seniors on site, and they then have all that other time that they would have been sat behind a computer to be there physically on the site, managing our contractors, spending time with the clients, building more of a connection with them.
So you are embedding the AI within the operation early enough, but also so far you were mainly depending on the human interaction and overseeing things step by step. That actually brings a question that was in my head later, but it is I think the right time to ask you now, and also I would love for the rest of the panelists to answer the same question. So now, as we discussed having the AI tool in the planning process and the operation workload, what are the human skills on ground that actually becomes more valuable?
I guess going back to it, the connection, it means it gives more time to create a connection, and that's so valued. For me, the biggest thing is to build a connection with my client, with the contractors, so they trust me. And I guess vigilance, if our team are on site and they're not worrying about, oh, but that thing that just happened, I need to get to a computer and write it down. Some of our team now have pocket machines that sit on their phones and record everything that's happening. A little bit scary, in all honesty. 100%. Make sure you switch that off when you get home. But it means that there's a report being written in the background, and they're on site, not worrying about, I need to keep this information in my head right now and get to a computer. No, I can stand here and I can keep doing what's most important, which is basically keeping people safe on the site.
Yeah, and documentation as well, and all the stuff that like admin is a big part of the events industry anyway. Yeah.
And that's not to take away from, I mean, going back on the trust thing, I personally don't fully trust AI. I use it in my day-to-day life, my personal and my work, but I'm always cross-checking and having to correct it and be like, it's not quite how I wanted that formatted, etc. So of course I'm not going to fully trust it with all deliverables, especially in the workplace. But it's, yeah, I'm not really sure.
It's a tool. So far, it's a tool. It's good to have, not a must-have. I assume that everyone really using it. I have to say, I personally used it preparing those questions today because, hey, why not? We can. I will extend the same question really to the rest of the panelists, and without an order, like whoever is ready, you can really. Ladies first.
I will take it from a different angle. Because there is a change that's happening. We need to feel it when it comes to specialization. Globally and in the region as well. And if we look at the next generation, they are the people that they will not look at AI as a supportive tool like you and me today as it were destructive. It's going to be in their DNA. It's going to be a natural, neutral, AI a solution for them. It's going to be into day-to-day. And if we want to look at the change that's happening, there are so many indicators that the globe and the region is preparing for these changes. Globally, and I want to refer to a broadcast that happened yesterday, it's a report in Sky News Arabia, and they were saying that the new specialization in universities that has to do with AI in 2021 in the US was 5 to 7. Today, in the early 2026, it's raised to 70. Different in new AI specialization that happening in the university. China is doing the same. If we look at the UAE, we have embedded the curriculum of AI at school level. So the global is getting ready for the trusted or untrusted tool that we're utilizing. And I think it's in the process of getting more mature by time. The question is, are we ready in our industry for these changes? Like I hear every now and then new titles that are happening, like AI content creator, AI experience specialization, includes neuro communication expert AI. These words, that's now they're new. We need to get ready for it in our industry. And we make sure that this readiness that comes with everything we do, training our employees to be in that level and to be as fast as the change is happening, because our clients, even if they are most of the time they are slower than us, they will be expecting us to be as fast and having all these resources to manage their expectations. So I think this is what specialization is happening in the future, and we need to be very careful
coded something in the past week? Okay, so I vibe coded something 5 minutes ago. I was getting inundated with cards coming to me and emails coming to me, and I needed to find a way to not forget about them and put them someplace that I know tomorrow morning when I wake up, I can answer all of those emails. So I opened up my Replit and I said, create an email for me that I can forward everything, including taking pictures of cards, and put it in a list so that tomorrow morning I can deal with it. And when I did that, I put the name, the phone number, the email, the category, and how relevant it is. Now I can breathe easily for the rest of the day and not have to worry about somebody who spoke to me 15 minutes ago that I might forget about when I wake up tomorrow morning. And that's what the power of AI and vibe coding on the spot, when you get a creative idea, to be able to do something to enhance your life. I think the problem with us is that we're not creative enough. Every time I vibe code something, I'm like, why didn't I think about this 5 years ago? Why didn't I think about this 5 minutes ago? And I think the human potential of what we could possibly do hasn't even scratched the surface. And I think the problem with that is the way we've been brought up. We all have to go to school, we all have to learn stuff that we weren't interested with, we were programmed a certain way, and now for us to just push the boundaries of our own creativity to create something feels dangerous. And I dream of a place where we could push that boundary constantly and be very creative about what we're doing. And if I think about my life, my most important interactions that I've had with people have been connecting on a heart level, on a human-to-human heart level, sharing some kind of tragedy that I've had, sharing some kind of experience that I've had, and I bet you, if I sat down with every single one of you and had 5 minutes, I could find something that could connect my heart to your heart, and we could create something incredible with that. So for that, I think these events are failing, with all of my due respect, with everybody that's here, and everybody that's put this together, thank you very much. But I think we can create a better world. And I think once we connect at that level, we can start filtrating and saying, I'm interested in this, and very specific about my needs, and how I want to move things forward. We're not there yet, but the technology that allows us to do that is available today. We're just not embracing it in a way that actually makes sense, because we're just so used to doing things the old way. We're like inching a little bit. Oh yeah, I'm going to use AI today for my contact list. Why can't we use AI to create a beautiful environment where I can sit with somebody in the audience that has connected with me, and we can have a heart-to-heart conversation that can create billions of dollars? We have not created that today. I think that's the opportunity we need to take a look at.
I have a question actually on that. Are you saying that the beauty of what we have at the moment is the spontaneous way of doing things, and like you walk into a place that you don't know what to expect, right? You don't know who you're gonna meet. If I'm very specific, I'm just playing the devil advocate here on behalf of some of you, I believe, right? And if we take this away and I'm going to talk about something very, very specific, so I'm going to speak to 10 people or even 100 people, but the way that we think at the moment, creativity comes from opening doors, talking to random people, people that you don't expect to meet in general, and then you go to one of those events and you network and you discover, and you know, like, it opens new doors for you. Do you think, like, the value of this later, if we would take this approach, will be like less and less?
Actually, I agree with you. I want to say is I want to increase serendipity and decrease noise. And so all of the extra noise that doesn't need to be there is filtered out, so that I do meet people and maybe we can think of something that AI hasn't said that you match with this person. But just to have the ability to have meaningful conversation that can go someplace without all the extra noise. So I'm not against serendipity, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I want to increase that, but I think we're not using the potentials of what we could do to the extent that we can today, not 2 years
So
from
enhancing.
now.
Yeah, enhancing the process. Upal, we'd love to hear your thoughts about this discussion as well.
So let me start with the first point that you made, what sort of a skill set. And I think it's not a technical skill, I think it's just curiosity. Because look, I think AI has really democratized technology for everybody, because, you know, like you said, vibe coding. If you have an idea, you could just put a prompt and see what comes out of it and try and become more efficient at something to do. Like you said, you got a lot more efficient at collecting cards and sending out emails instead of stacking them in your pocket and then figuring out who to send what. So I think it's that curiosity that's really going to drive us. And secondly, I think I want to make sure that all of us don't have a fear that AI is just going to light our world on fire, and it's going to be a paradigm shift, and we're going to be like half humanoids, half robots. It's going to happen. Like think about the last time you probably booked a ticket and cancelled it, and then you were with a chatbot, right? So of course you can process your refunds, etc. But can anyone replace the assurance that you get when you pick up the phone and someone says, "All right, sir, I got you. I'm going to take care of you." You just cannot. So that human connection will stay forever. What AI can do potentially is replace some of these mundane tasks or like first points of escalation, the silly stuff, the easy stuff. But where you need someone to create an experience, create that trust, shake hands, share a hug, that's not going to replace. It's going to stay the same. So I just want to put it out there. It's not like we're entering into a new era where we're just like robots and just speaking the same monotone language. It's just going to complement our lifestyle. Hopefully, at least not in my lifetime. No.
Thank you. Dana, back to you. You mentioned something very interesting regarding where things are happening now in schools, university curricula, and the next generation. Something that we really need to tap into and think about. Now we're learning this maybe as adults, but how about our children and how they are interacting with AI at the moment? This being embedded even with their study and in their schools, they are using it heavily. And I'm not sure if it's the right way, but it depends, of course, on their application of that. My question is, how do you think that will change the way we approach communications and experiences in the future?
It's gonna change, as I said. We need to get ready to it, as I said. Today, the AI is still in the learning process, guys. Everything we're saying, we're seeing, it's a learning process. It still did not stabilize. Remember us when we start using the phones, and it was only luxury for specific people, and today we can detach ourselves from phones. I think AI will go through this kind of evolution until we locked AI as part of our DNA, as I said before. And the readiness is very important for our industry, communication, or events in specific. And I want to focus on events here because this is where I think the events will be distinguished from the other kind of communication in our industry, because they will be the safe haven for any mother and father to create the human connection with these kind of activities that events can do, because the AI cannot provide such a kind of a human element. It's very important for us to look at things from a futuristic way of thinking, and it's very important for us not to resist the change that's happening and stay behind, because then we'll be obsolete in the future. It's very important for us to look at it from an ethical perspective as well, and this is something we're doing today in communication, is the ethical way of utilizing AI, that it will affect our industry, because it's going to be chaotic in certain timing, and we need to embrace that and think how we can create solution to this chaos that's helping us on a side, but it's also not helping us on another side. Just like a doctor, it can kill you and it can make you feel better. So I just want to build more awareness around the AI and how we can take it from the, I say it in Arabic, فترة المخاض, where the born baby is happening. We just need to be careful on how to use the AI and to what benefit, and to embrace it, but at the same time not to regulate it, but to regulate it from a personal perspective, and to see what's benefit for us and what is bad for us, and to avoid a phase that can reflect badly on us in the sector.
And on the part of, again, trust and regulating of AI, I'm going to go to Georgia to ask you about trusting AI. So again, Georgia, you are the one here representing Event Services, where you guys are working with all those staffing, and human interaction is a lot within your domain. So trusting AI makes real-time decisions around safety. Do you think this is possible without human interaction? I mean, you mentioned already that human interaction or involvement in general to oversee things is essential. But if we take it a step further and think about the future in terms of safety and human decision making on the spot, do you think AI here will be fully trusted?
Fully trusted?
Not fully.
Not yet. No. If you ask me in 30 years, I might have a different answer, but
Right.
honestly, no, I don't think so. I personally, from experience and how I feel, would not want AI making the final decisions. Like, you think about events that have happened over the years, catastrophic events with crowd flow going wrong and major fire exit issues and stuff. AI cannot physically manage a crowd of people. You can give people a plan. If something happens, this is the way you need to react. But really, when something does happen, most people panic. They don't follow the plan. So AI cannot manage that situation. A human can manage that situation. I would still want somebody on that site that inevitably can make the rash decision that needs to be made to make the outcome be a good outcome and not a bad one. So, for example, we work with some clients now that are looking into AI being able to be connected to CCTV. So the AI will sit and it will watch the cameras and it will tell our safety guys or our crowd team, hey, this flow over here is getting a bit tight, or there's someone up a ladder over here without a harness on or a safety helmet. But the AI can't actually then physically go and fix that situation. The person needs to.
Reporting part.
Exactly. So the answer, no, I wouldn't trust it to do the final decision that would have to still come from us. And it should hopefully forever be that way, or we have an issue.
Let's see. Not yet, as Stella keeps on saying. Right, so sometimes I feel like we just want to use AI where maybe sometimes it's needed and sometimes it's not needed. So Google. Where do you see the events professionals using AI simply because they can, rather than because it genuinely improves the experience and the business outcome? What's your view on this?
A little too many times, and I think we're all habitual of that. You know, when we see tech, we see tech as the end goal, whereas it's a means to an end goal. Tech is never the end goal, so AI is never the end goal. AI can enable you to get to your objective. How many of you have read this book by Stephen Covey? It's a very popular book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. How many? So there's chapter 4, I think. It says, begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. So when you're using AI, when you're applying any sort of tech,